Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. You can probably hear my dishwasher. If you do, please ignore it. Today I'm going to talk about something along the lines with my stillbirth. Aside from, the stillbirth and the loss of my child, there was something else that was really hard to deal with, and it was accepting that I had changed as a person. I was so mad that I couldn't be the person I was before. I was this happy, go lucky, everything happens for a reason, make my day great type of person. And then my baby died. And I didn't know, how do I word it? It really changed who I was. I don't really want to say negative, but kind of negative. Became pretty negative and really shut in. I didn't go to any social events. It was hard for me to leave the house, because I'd leave the house and it was just traumatizing. Everything I did reminded me of my pregnancy, and I just couldn't be who I was before. And it was really hard, really, really hard to cope with. And I'm sure that if you have experienced it, that you are also probably having a hard time coping with it. I'm no professional. This is just my experience with my life, and I'm going to tell you about kind of my story of refinding myself, accepting who I was, who I've become, and kind of how things have happened. It has been almost 4 years since I lost my son, and it still hurts. I'm gonna make that very strong. It still hurts the same amount of hurt if I think about it too long. If I want to let the pain take over, I can fall to the floor crying because I hurt that bad still. But I have learned how to cope with the pain, and I've also learned, I guess, time doesn't heal pain. It's the stupidest saying ever. I think time just teaches you how to live with it. And so I've learned my tricks and my tips to deal with the pain. And so this is not what the video is about, but I'm going to keep going with it. Anyways, and so I've kind of learned, and from there I'm going to talk about the identity crisis, which was the second hardest thing I had to deal with the loss of my son. No longer being who I was. I had spent 21 years, growing into this person that I was pretty proud of. Obviously everybody always has things they want to change with themselves, but I spent 21 years growing into this person that really believed that everything happened for a reason. And I was pretty sociable. I didn't like to go out by myself, but as long as I had a friend with me, I was okay, and was good at making conversations with everybody. I was fine walking around the mall, or we don't have a mall here, but I was when I grew up. And I was just, I was happy for the most part. Kind of went through a lot of crap, but for the most part, I was happy, and things just changed with me when my son died. And losing who I was and all of those traits about myself, my loving side was almost gone. My positivity was gone. Let's see, we'll just list them. My socialness, my positivity, my creativity, my I don't want to say kindness, but my kindness went with my social. I was always very kind, and it kind of just died because I was no longer cared. I didn't reach out on social media. I didn't, I just stopped posting stuff about my life, pictures. I stopped taking pictures. I just stopped pretty much being a person, at least the person I was. And it took, probably a year and a half for me to even start changing from being that person a little bit. I got a little happy. I got happier when I was pregnant with Hudson, but I was filled with anxiety and fear, and I still didn't believe that everything happened for a reason. My son dying was bullshit, and I mean, why did people say that to me? Why do people tell you that everything happens for a reason, right? Wrong. Everything does. At least for me, everything happened for a reason. And that, again, that was a phrase I grew up believing, and I loved that phrase. But when people started telling me when my baby died that that's why, I just wanted to punch them in the face. Literally. I didn't punch anybody in the face, but mentally I did. And it's, sorry, itchy nose. That was just a blow for people to tell me that. And I'm gonna tell you honestly, it took a long time for me to grow into this. Just like it, you know, I learned how to deal with the pain. It took me a long time to grow into it, but I have figured out my reasons why. I don't know if that's my way of coping with the situation, and so I don't know if other people end up doing that. I spoke to one person, and they're like, yeah, that makes sense, and I spoke to another person and they said I will never feel that way. So for me personally, I found my reasons why. I'm not going to go too specifically into them, but I can tell you that where I live, my relationship, probably the way Skylar and I view our kids, the way my family views my pregnancies and my kids, the way I don't know, just the way everything with my kids, but everything about my life, what I choose, you know, why I chose to vlog, why I chose to sit down in front of this camera and share my life with you, all of that would have been different. And the biggest reason why is that I probably wouldn't have Hudson at all, and who knows if I would have had Ensley. And those two are my life now, and so I've learned to accept my loss with Jaden, and I've learned to accept my loss with my miscarriages, because all of those played out in a way to give me my kids. And honestly, it built this life, and it took a long time for me to be happy, but it built me this life that I guess wouldn't have happened this way necessarily if he would have survived. And that freaking sucks, but I believe in heaven, and so I believe that I will see him one day, and getting the fact that I get to meet him one day and I get to see him makes heaven and dying not so scary. I mean, heaven's obviously not scary, but makes dying not so scary. I don't want to die for many years. I want to watch my kids grow and live a happy life with Skylar, but it kind of makes going to heaven one day really exciting, because I get to meet Jaden and I get to meet my two babies. I have no idea anything about them because they were very early miscarriages. So that was part of my acceptance, and it took years for me to have that view. But part of that acceptance helped me grow. I guess I kind of gained back that everything happens for a reason attribute for myself. And that was cool. I still get kind of iffy with it every once in a while, because nobody wants to truly think that everything happens for a reason, I think. But, so I did gain, I guess the gist of what I'm trying to say is that I lost so many parts of myself, and over time, again, it has almost been 4 years. I'm gaining some of those parts of me back. I guess it comes down to the parts of me that I've always been. So the positivity, the everything happens for a reason, the my socializing and my thoughts about the world are all still there. And I think they always were, but I just think they were clouded by grief. And so I've grown back into those parts of myself. But there's still parts that will never be the same. I've witnessed the worst pain, or experienced, I guess not witnessed. I have witnessed other people's, but I have experienced the worst pain that I think a person can go through, in my perspective. And that's always going to change me. I speak to kids softer, and I hug and kiss my kids way more than people probably think is nice or necessary. But that's because I'm so grateful for them. yes, just the way I see families, when I see people out and about, you know, I went from, they're just families, lost my kid, to, oh my God, screw you because you have kids and I don't have my baby, to, oh my gosh, I don't know their story. What if they went through the exact same thing that I did and I don't know? And so then I get grateful that they have those children. And it's, you know, that's a positive way that I've grown. But long story short, because I don't want to make this the longest video ever, it's okay that you are no longer who you were. Your friends and family are probably have a hard time with that. If they haven't firsthand experienced it, they don't always see that you can't be the person that you were. But I do believe that with time you will grow, and as long as you choose to. It's a big thing in my life right now is you either choose to grow or you don't. As long as you choose to grow, which takes time. Again, it took me about 1.5 years to truly grow from the situation. As long as you choose to grow, and you'll be even more. It's okay that you're not who you were. You're gonna keep growing. You're gonna keep changing. Events happen every day that change people. So when people tell you you aren't who you used to be, it's okay. And when you get mad at yourself, it is okay that you're not who you used to be. You shouldn't be who you used to be completely, because why would you? You went through something so traumatizing. You will never be the same person. But one day you're gonna grow and you are going to be a brilliant person. I know it. There I go. I'm getting watery-eyed. I don't know what else to say, but I know that accepting that you're no longer going to be who you were is really hard, but I promise you a lot of those traits will come back to you if you let them. Give it a lot of time. It's not a day 1, day 2, day 10, day 30 fix. It is a year's fix, okay? So that is my story. I am going to do a video next month in April. Actually, I might just put this up in April. We'll see, you guys. But I'm going to talk about my loss with Jaden, and I'm going to tell you 2 really hard stories. So if you want to know more, hit subscribe so you can hit and the little bell thing so you can know when those stories go up, because I will talk about my dance with death, and just, I guess, losing him was kind of my dance with death, but also, I guess, choices about death. But I promise you, there's more to life, and it's gonna be okay. We will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching, and leave a comment below. I love to talk. Talk is my thing, and I'm here for people if you need me. Love you guys.